Why couldn't I recognize you during that tiff? Down the road you decried like an old grouser? What if I told you to look for it again? From word to pain and pain to word? Every torment trapped in my shattered record of concussion. How could you be the one to sink my dream? Even grief feels like home. Never prepared. Let's bury your true self with my silence. Hey guys, welcome back to the 4 a.m. Talks podcast, and you are listening to Poems with Ramya Velu. Today I am so happy that I am able to record this episode for you. So first of all, I would like to shed my gratefulness to all of you who have tuned in today, not only to my episodes but to my brothers as well. He might be like always talking about and including my episodes in his, and I'm so grateful for him as well. So today has been a good day for me. It is already 7 o'clock in the evening, and I just finished my college. I had my midsems going on. It was going on. So now I am done with my exams, and I'm so grateful that it did go well. See, I feel that this is a peak period right now, and I feel that everybody around me is falling sick. So those of you who have been falling sick, I am sending you my healing energy. I hope you get well soon. And to those of you who have been feeling sad, or like I've been feeling overwhelmed because I don't like exams, especially the pressure, that anxiety. Oh, I don't like it. I just don't like it. But the moment is thrilling. Sometimes I feel that I might not get back to college, and I always feel that the midsems for this semester comes only once in time. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, so today I have brought you my poem. So the title of this poem is Why Couldn't I Recognize You? Why couldn't I? Sometimes, I was talking about this thing to one of my friend, and we were discussing how sometimes we just don't, really recognize a person who is very close to us. Now just imagine that I am your friend and you know me as a person who is very anxious and who doesn't want to interact with people publicly. But when you meet me in personal life and you become close to me, you might actually like me, because you might like my kindness, for example, or you might like my gratefulness or my gratitude practice, anything. So imagine you form an image about myself. This is what we usually do. It could be a friendship, it could be a relationship. You all have this image that is formed. Now, for example, take an example of your parents. We all have an image of our parents. We are like, this is who our parents are. But do you think these people, now, do you think these people are actually like what we think? Do you think these are the people who we have imagined, and the perception that we have about these people? Do you think that these people are the exact ones that we exactly imagined? No, right? I really was listening to this one of the song by Halsey, and I really like her album called Maniac, and there is this one song called Graveyard. So while I was listening to that song, like especially to that album, I wouldn't stick up to that one song, but to the album, during Maniac Insomniac series was releasing, Halsey posted a video that really caught my attention and I really loved that concept. What did she say? She said that the public, the audience, or my fans know me as Halsey. And there is this a close circle of people who know me as Ashley. Her name is Ashley. And if you meet her without anybody, she all by herself, just example, she is a person who's all alone by herself. She has an individual characteristic, and she's a person who you wouldn't even know, only known to her. Now that's how we are. Now when we are with public, we act a certain kind of a way, and when you are around people whom you know, you are a different kind. But when you are all by yourself, you are a totally different person. Now I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. So we just don't know what people are, who they are, except for yourself. Only you know who you are, and I know who I am. We have different personas that we carry around. That's the whole base of my poem. I was just telling my friends about this a gap. I might even write a poem about it, but I thought I will share this here. So imagine that your parents expect you to do something. For example, your parents would say that you will have to do this for me, and you don't want to do that thing for your parent. Now you might be like, my parent should be understanding, and your parents would be like, I hope my child understand my plight. So can you see, both of you are all expecting, and you are expecting is because you have a picture imagined. Now that is why there's a lot of problem around the world. We go on cribbing saying that this person shouldn't have been done this to me, my parent, who is not very understanding of my situation, because we all have an image of expectations. We are like, my brother would do this to me because he should, because I expect that from him. We don't really go there and sit along with them and ask, do you really think you would want to do it? We don't respect that space, and that space is the void that creates a lot of problems in our life. Just sit back and think about it. Think about something that you expected from somebody, and that somebody expected something from you, and you both misunderstood, and there was a lot huge chaos happening in both of your end. Now, is this what you expected? No, not really. At the end of the day, we want somebody to understand, but what really happened? It was a total disaster. And I wrote this poem, I just didn't have anybody behind this poem. Like, I didn't have an intention to write this poem. I was just thinking that, what if I was walking in a road with anybody whom I know? Why would sometimes I wouldn't be able to recognize them? And these are the times I think anybody should be okay in sitting along with them and asking them, what happened to you? What happened? Can we talk? Why are you reacting this way? I didn't know this is affecting you, or this is making you disappointed, or I don't know if this is what you expected from me. What is that? Can we talk about it and sort out this bad air that's between us? Sometimes what happens when we don't recognize a person, we tell out the meanest of meanest stuffs to them. I'm not even kidding. I had this one friend who had another friend, and that friend doesn't like me. So my friend's friend doesn't like me, and I am okay with that. But you know what she does? She every time reacts differently to whatever my friend says. They have known each other for a very long period of time, but they just can't understand each other. My friend always tries to put up with her, and she tries to, stand by her, even though things are hurting, even though things are painful. How many of them would really do this? And what would happen? Every time my friend talks about it to me, we usually sit and, we talk about her feelings. Or we generally, share things out to each other. And she says how she felt about every little thing that her friend talks. And she says that this is who she was not. Oh my god, this is a different phase in life. Now, there is this one concept also I would like to say. Most of us, even you and me, even I have done this mistake a couple of times, I would say. I don't understand that I have evolved and my friend hasn't. So I forget that part and I expect that person to do something that will be okay for my end. But I don't really understand what they are thinking. Can you see that? And when this friend was talking about her friend, all I asked her was, did you form a boundary? Did you tell your friend that you don't recognize her? Or did you realize that you have evolved? You are not the same old person as you met her during your school days. And if she is still the same as the person you met during your school days, then I think she hasn't evolved. Nobody gets this concept of transformation. Many people transform. It could be due to pain, it could be due to experience, event. We just don't know. They become more mature enough to understand certain things. They become more powerful to make decisions and which are wise enough in that phase of life. These are the small things that you feel sad about. You're like, why are the people that I know, why can't I recognize those people? How bad and painful is that thing to experience? I think most of us go through these phases. We just don't get it. Sometimes you would be in a relationship, and after few months of dating you would realize that this was not the person that I met while I was dating, because their personas are different. We just don't understand people's persona. And today, while I was learning my developmental psychology, I was studying about middle adulthood. So when I was learning about middle adulthood, I was actually thinking about how people resolve their personas, and it gets difficult for them on their way to life. They just don't understand why they have that persona in them. Sometimes, we just don't get it why certain people act certain way. And we think we don't understand and we don't put in a lot of efforts. But when you actually put in a lot of efforts, you will actually understand why that thing happened to you. This is one of my favorite lines that I have actually written. Every grief feels like home. For me, every grief actually feels like home. I don't know how many of you feel this. Every time I'm in pain, every time I am mentally tortured, I feel like I belong there. This could be a sign of anybody's weakness. But you know what? When you go down there and feel yourself in grief, you understand so many things about you. You understand what you like and what you don't like. You understand what, as a person, I expect. Feeling sad is always not wrong. I just don't get it when people say, don't be sad, be positive. No, I like being sad. I like being in that moment. That is when I meet myself. I meet myself there. When I realize what I like and what I don't like. And you know what most of the people do, and this is what my best friend also does. She goes silent. She never talks about it. She never goes and confronts it to her friend because her friend is not ready. Because she is afraid to confront her own things or her own truths. And that's what most of us do. We are in abusive friendship, we are in abusive relationships, we are with toxic people because we bury their true selves with our imaginary world. We think that no, they are not like that. Maybe they are going through things, but why don't other people get it that you go through things as well? That's the whole purpose of writing this poem. It is sad, it is disappointment, but at the end of the day, I am not trying to make the person who acted in a very toxic way hero. But this is a poem for the people who don't understand their own people who are in pain because of their actions. How many of them call back to you and tell you, I'm so sorry for behaving that way? I'm so sorry that I was in some other place. But you know what most of the people would do? I'm not even kidding. People don't want to point their fingers at themselves. Rather, they point fingers at you and they tell you where things went wrong from your end. And that is more distressful and it is so disrespecting. What's the first thing I do when I have an argument or I don't get along with people? After some time, I go make it up. I tell to that person what hurt me. So that, the person will understand where I come from. I don't want to leave things unresolved. I want to resolve it. I want to ask that person where went wrong in your path, where went things wrong in your road to this entire argument. How can we make up to that argument? Will you be okay if I said sorry to you? No. We'll be okay once we tell things where exactly things went wrong, and if it's a misinterpretation, it's a misinterpretation. If you are from the end of mistake, I think we should be okay in saying sorry to the other person. When you say that, I don't think anything is going to cost. It's just going to cost you the learning that where you went wrong and next time you wouldn't repeat it. Sometimes I don't understand why we make things complicated instead of breaking it down. Don't you agree that we just have one life? You live only once, YOLO. But why do we have to make it difficult for the other person? And why do we have to give them complicated thoughts? Why don't we just step forward and say, this is where I got hurt. Sometimes it's good to do that when people are ready to resolve your mistake and my mistake. Why don't we just do it, and why don't we forgive them, and why don't we go back and forgive people and live in peace? Why don't we do that? Nobody wants to do it. Recently what happened, I really thought that I would never want to bring this incident in my podcast. Especially, I faced a terrible disrespect in the place that I was previously interning. I literally quit my internship the minute I realized that I was disrespected. I am still mad at that person because when I tried explaining what hurt me, she was trying to blame it everything on me to make herself feel better. Now, how is that? Now, I can relate this poem totally to her. I couldn't recognize her. I saw her in a very big light that was a spotlight in my life, and I dreamt that she is a person who is very conscious about her surroundings. But guess what? She is a person that I didn't know. She had another persona in her. Wow, I just didn't actually script this, but I'm telling you the truth. This just came out of my mouth while I was talking about this. Right now, if you are in a place where you did the mistake, you know that things went wrong is because of you. Don't hold your ego, don't hold your anger, don't hold your depression, don't hold anything. Just go to that person and explain it. Trust me, you will never regret doing this. You will definitely not regret doing this. Sometimes we will have to take steps. And if you are someone somebody did something to you and you're very upset and you're feeling very sad about it, if the person is ready to accept it and they are ready to give you an apology, not even apology, they are ready to accept their own mistakes and they are ready to transform and evolve, I think you need to become a big person by letting that go, because you taught them a lesson. So basically, you did a good, wonderful job. This has been an amazing episode for me. Trust me, I never scripted this. I never did anything. I randomly came up with my poem that I had written very long back. Trust me, this poem is very long back. I posted this poem on December 14th, 2021 at 3:35. I posted this on my Instagram. It was my story. I'm so sorry. It was my story. And I wrote this after a very long time. I just thought that I really wanted to bring this poem is because, first thing, I really miss writing poems these days. I've not been finding a quite amount of time, ample amount of time to sit down and pen down my thoughts, and it takes a lot of energy and it requires a lot of feelings and emotions. I don't like writing poems for the sake of writing it. I like to write it with what I feel, and that gives me a satisfaction. And I always believe that my poems are like a picture, that I capture my emotions because I want to feel that emotion even when I'm in my 60s. Even if this podcast doesn't go big, even if this poem doesn't go big, I like that moment right now, what I'm trying to tell you. But I'm sure this is gonna go big. One day you're gonna listen to me and you're gonna come and let me know how you felt about this one particular episode. Either ways, today we didn't have any kids screaming on top of their lungs, but we did have a little bit disturbance. If you had realized, I do know, but I've been not finding a lot of time in the night to record this episode, but I just wanted to do it is because I just love this feeling. I love pouring out myself, and I feel very happy that I really liked today's episode. It has been one of the beautiful feelings for me to tell what I want to tell, and this is such an amazing day. And also, if you're listening to this episode in any audio format, please write a mail to us, write what you wanna know from us or what you want us to do, what are the contents or what are the themes that you want me or my brother to cover. You are welcome always to pen down your thoughts and send it to us. We'll be very grateful. So you can mail us, and it is 4am podcast office at the rate of gmail.com. I hope I mentioned the mail correctly. Just give me a second. I am so tired and exhausted. I am just not remembering things. Yes, it's 4am talks podcast office at the rate of gmail.com. And if you're listening to this on Instagram, you are welcome to come and share your thoughts with us. And it is 4am talks podcast. You will get it on your Instagram. You can tweet us. You can even comment below on YouTube section. We would be very grateful to attend your opinions, your thoughts, and your perspectives on various things. And with this, we come to the flag end of this episode. I am so happy and grateful again. Thank you so much for coming and tuning into my episode. I'll see you in another episode with another amazing, beautiful poem. With that, I have something else to say. I've been thinking that I'll make a series of poems so that you will be able to connect one episode with the other episode, and that's gonna come up in the next week. So be excited, and yes, come share your love. With that being said, bye, take care, and have a wonderful weekend and amazing week ahead. And I have fest coming up in my college, so I would definitely have an amazing week because there's been a lot of plannings happening with my girls, and we are planning for a stayover, we are planning for a lunch. So I just can't wait to spend more time with them and have more of laughs and learn from their lives. I trust me, my girls are the best, and I would like to shout out this one particular thing for them because they are literally an amazing people, and they support me like nobody else do. Whether I write in Latin or Greek, they always say that my poems are the best. So that gives me a lot of happiness. So I would like to thank them in this episode, and yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.